everybody, and welcome to Horror Movie Yearbook. I'm Tim.
I'm Willie.
We are going to talk a little bit about Alien Romulus. Correct?
Yes.
That's the name?
Yes.
Yeah. Willie is like you're coming fresh from this bad boy. Like, this is almost like an instant reaction, right?
I finished this movie at 7 p.m., and we are recording right now at 8:42 p.m.
Right.
So, yeah,
Okay.
more or less.
So, yeah, this is pretty much like almost like a straight out the theater, because you had not seen it yet. I have.
Yeah. Did you see it in the theater, or did you just see it?
I saw it as soon as it hit Disney Plus, Hulu, whatever.
Yeah.
So I did. Yeah, no, I did not see it in the theater.
Okay.
So, and just a little background on us: you are an Alien fan. So,
See,
I guess you're an Alien and Aliens fan. Is that fair to say?
there we go.
Okay.
I love the universe.
Yes.
I don't always love the movies.
I like Alien and Aliens, but I would not go as far as to say I wouldn't call myself like a fan. Like when there are callbacks or something, like a lot of them go over my head, and then I have to see however, like I have to see everybody else react to them. But even this one, I caught most of them or some of them.
I really love the first two movies.
Okay.
There are bits I like about everything that comes after, including even Resurrection. There's bits I like in that movie too.
Okay.
I like the universe. I like the designs of the creatures. I like all as a whole. I enjoy. I like some of the comic books, but I would not. When I look at like the Alien franchise stuff I collect, it's from that mostly that second movie, but that's kind of where that's the first two are my bread and butter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the Terminator series in some ways.
It's weirdly kind of like I am a fan of the Terminator universe.
Yeah.
And the concept and the idea, but I am not a fan of the series of Terminator movies.
Yeah.
I can't say that because there's enough now that I don't like or haven't watched in some cases to where I can't call myself a fan. Like I like the first two movies.
You know what? This reminds me of The Simpsons a little bit. It's been on for like 30 something seasons. Everybody agrees that like only the first 8 seasons are good, and even some people are like, let's get that down to 6.
Yeah. So like, are you really?
So are you a fan of The Simpsons? Or are you just a fan of the first few seasons?
And
of
that's
The Simpsons?
okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I would even pose this argument to you real quick before we move on. Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
Are you a fan of the Spider-Man series of films? I mean, really?
Well, okay, so
you like the Raimi movies.
I'm a fan of this. Yeah, so I guess I think I'm a fan of Spider-Man, the character.
Yes, of course. Yes. I'm talking about just strictly movies.
But strictly
Would
movies.
you consider yourself a fan of that franchise, that film franchise?
So we were counting everything, including the Marvel movies?
Yeah.
I am going to say, maybe.
Middle of the road.
Middle of the road, because I did like the last one. But even the last one I liked because Toby was in it. Yeah.
Raimi stuff. Yeah.
No, I quite like the last one. I think the last one's a lot of fun.
It's quite good.
Yeah. I think the last one's a lot of fun. I know there's been some reevaluation of it, but I enjoy it quite a bit.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Anyway, okay, I was just curious.
I want to mention the Midwest Game Nerds while we are talking, because I know you and I have been playing some games, but we won't go too deep
I know,
into
right?
Most anticipated games of 2025.
Nice.
Their episode just dropped, and
Nice.
they also talked about the announcement of the Switch 2 and
yes.
also Blade Chimera, which sounds sick. But,
is it Wesley Snipes involved?
Blade. Yeah. If he's not, he will be. He'll be hearing from his lawyers eventually.
I can't remember if you guys have covered Let's Go Pikachu, but can you do that for me? Even though the game's like 3 years old at this point. Thanks.
Willie's been playing Let's Go Pikachu
So
with your
much.
daughter, right?
So much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot for me. Yeah.
You're having fun though.
I'm having a lot of fun,
you're texting me
man.
about
Like,
it,
yeah. I mean, like, dude, I had that original on Game Boy. Right? I don't want to get too far into this because this is not the show, but on Game Boy they came out with Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue. Those are the two Pokemon games, the original Pokemon games, just on Game Boy. And they and you kind of had to pick which one you wanted to get, right? And depending on which one you got, there were different Pokemon you could catch in the game. It was really a great scheme to get parents to buy basically 2 copies of the same game. And they did it again because there's Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and it's the same thing. But no, I'm having a lot of fun. It's fun to go back and go, oh man, I remember this. Like it's kind of a fun little nostalgia thing. Like, oh man, I remember fighting this guy. Yeah, makes me feel warm and fuzzy, and I get to do it with my daughter.
Yes,
which is the best part.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, nice. She's super into it. She was talking to you about it tonight.
She was. She showed me Charizard and that big puffy guy.
She's got Snorlax.
Snorlax.
Yeah, Snorlax.
Snorlax is like, isn't there a Snorlax? Like, is that He-Man? Isn't there like, what am I thinking of?
I don't know.
What's the thing isn't there a Snorlax? Oh, what's the fucking thing in Star Wars? Well, we're explicit anyway. I can swear all I want.
The thing in Star Wars.
Sarlacc? Is it
the Sarlacc?
The Sarlacc? Maybe that's what I'm thinking?
Yeah, they both eat a lot.
They do.
And they're both kind of lazy, I think, right?
Yeah, one's cuter, though.
Yeah, Snorlax is cute. Yeah. I'm going to go with the Pokemon on the cute factor, but
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so check out the Midwest Game Nerds wherever you get your podcasts.
Indeed.
Well, we got to talk about this movie, though.
Yeah, so we are discussing Alien Romulus.
You want to do a quick time machine back to whatever this was last year?
Actually, yes. I would go back to last year in a heartbeat right now. So let's do it.
All right, time machine. Hit me with a time machine noise.
This was my sounded more like a pterodactyl, I think, but that was my alien alarm system in all these movies.
I'm looking
the weird like
yeah, that I feel like that is a
self-destruct sequence.
Top song. Let's do it. Let's do top songs of August.
Oh God.
2024, and let's see if you've heard of any of them.
Oh no.
All right.
Okay.
We're going to do this. So the top songs according to Billboard from last week. All right. Too Sweet by Hosier at number 10.
Nope.
You're too sweet for me. I bet you like this song's in commercials. I bet you've heard it during like a game or something.
Maybe. I don't know that I know the song. I don't know the name of the artist either. So that's tough.
So
yeah.
I think this is still pretty much the top 10 now. Lose Control by Teddy Swims. Lose control.
I don't know that song.
That's the worst. Please by Sabrina Carpenter.
I just found out that Sabrina Carpenter's a person. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
she's like kind of like all over the internet now. I don't know. She was on a Disney show or something at some point.
Probably.
I think
she's she was on the SNL 50 a bunch.
Yeah, well, we just started watching that, and she kind of opens the show. So
yes.
I've seen her online. I don't know her music or much about her. She acts and sings, I believe. She's a double threat.
I know a couple of her songs.
So,
I wouldn't call myself a fan. I don't.
She seems nice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know her music though.
Number 7, Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish.
Nope.
You familiar with Billie Eilish?
I am familiar with Billie Eilish. Yes.
Number 6, Good Luck Babe by Chappell Roan.
I keep hearing about Chapel. Is it Chapel or Chap?
I believe it's Chappell Roan.
Chappell Roan. Okay.
Yes.
I keep hearing about her. I've seen pictures of her. She dresses in very interesting outfits. I like that.
Yes.
That's cool. She yells at paparazzi people. I like that. That's cool.
That's always a plus, right?
Other than that, I don't know anything about her. So it seems like she's very popular.
This one I can't name it. I like the other one, the Pink Pony Club song. I like the Pink Pony.
Oh my God, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah. You know what? Listen to that one after the show. I think you'll like that.
Okay.
One. Number 5, $1 Million Baby by Tommy Richmond. This is a hip hop song. I know this one.
Yeah, I don't know this song. I know the movie, the Clint Eastwood film.
Oh yes, yeah. I believe he probably name drops that in the song, but I don't believe the song is like about him having $1 million.
Oh, sweet. Well, good for him. That's great. Celebrate it, man.
Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, number 4.
Okay, once again, yep.
I think, yeah. Number 3.
Do you like espresso?
What's that?
You a fan of espresso?
Well, Willie, don't get me started on the new coffee machine at work. But first of all, I did not know the mochaccino there, they spell it with 2 Ks, which is weird to me. I thought it was Mocha.
It's like Mortal Kombat. No, it's a C. It's not supposed to be a K.
I didn't tell you.
That's a weird thing.
Someone turned all the stuff to French the other day, like the stuff. And I think I know who it was. It was someone we work with. I think he did it on purpose because he loves to stand back there and talk by the coffee machine.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he like helped install it, and he
talks about it a lot.
He talks about it a lot. I think he switched it to French so he could go back there and fix it, and then talk to somebody about the coffee machine.
Yes. That you would think he invented, the way he built it by hand.
I've also
God, office life is weird.
I've also started charting the high traffic and low traffic times. I'll touch base with you after.
Yeah, you gotta help me out with that a little bit.
Yeah. Number 3, the halftime performer from the Super Bowl, which I watched 2 minutes of, and I didn't even watch his halftime performance. I'm sure it was great. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. This is the big Drake.
I do know this song and him. But I'd never actually heard the song until the Super Bowl.
Until the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think I watched it after, like I was like, oh, like I keep hearing this thing, so I watched it afterwards.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed good. I mean, I don't know.
You picked a side in the Drake beef?
I mean, no, I don't. Drake seems like he's probably. I've
always thought Drake fucking sucked anyway.
I'm not going to get into it.
Number 2, I Had Some Help by Post Malone, featuring Morgan Wallen.
I like Post Malone as a human. I think
he's in the Ninja Turtles, right?
Yeah. He seems cool.
Is he Ray Fillet? He's Ray Fillet,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. He seems cool.
Uh-huh.
But I can honestly tell you, I don't think I've ever heard a single second of his music.
Okay.
And that's fine. That's okay. Yeah. Like, he seems like a good dude. I did hear him cover Nirvana during COVID.
Oh, was that well, he just did it at the SNL concert. They had a concert on Friday night.
Oh.
Have you seen this?
No.
He gets up there with the surviving members of Nirvana, and they sing Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Okay, he did that during COVID, and it was pretty good.
It was pretty good on Friday night, too.
Sick. Okay, I'm going to watch it. Is this on the 50th special, or is this a separate?
This is a separate. Do you have Peacock?
Yeah.
So this is a concert special. It kind of fucking rules, honestly.
Yeah?
You should watch it.
Okay.
Because it has the B-52s are on it, Devo's on it, David Byrne is also on it. Jack White does Neil Young songs. Eddie Vedder does some stuff.
Oh, that's why I saw those guys in the audience for the 50th.
Yeah.
So I was like, what the fuck is Jack White doing? He wasn't listening to a musical performer, and I'm like, is he just like a big SNL fan? I don't it's fine, but
yeah.
He doesn't seem like the kind of guy who just shows up for events like that. I don't know.
He did it. Yeah, he was kind of the close. Cool. He was the closer. He did Seven Nation Army, of course, and then he did a cover of Rockin' in the Free World. It was pretty sweet. So.
Oh, cool.
And then the
I
number
will
one,
watch that then. Yeah.
Yeah, the number one song. Oh, did you watch the Lonely Island thing from that?
So I've only made it to.
Oh, I'm talking about the concert Friday night.
No.
I'll send this to you. You should
Lonely
at least
Island
watch
performs?
it. They do a medley.
Oh,
it's fantastic.
Man.
I'll send it to you.
Wow, this sounds great. I've seen them live.
Have you? Oh, yeah.
It was so much fun. Anyway.
And the number one song in America, August 16th, 2024, was a bar song, Tipsy by Shabuzi.
I know this song.
Yeah.
I know this song because they played it at halftime during a Lions game.
Okay.
That's how I know it. Yeah. I think it was one of their Monday night games. They had because they usually do halftime shows during the Monday night, the big primetime games for the NFL. So Shabuzi was the performer, and he played this country. He's cool, man. I liked him. Yeah. It's good vibes.
He is good vibes. Yeah,
vibes.
So there you go. Those were the number one songs a few months ago.
Nice.
The top 10 songs.
Nice.
All right.
I knew 2, I think, or 3. Yeah.
Alien Romulus.
Oh boy.
So this is throwing me off because now I keep thinking Resurrection right before because it's all Alien R. Right before I start. This is directed by one Mr. Fede Alvarez, written by Fede Alvarez, and is it like Rodrigo Santoro? I can't remember his co-writer's name. Is there
Isn't Rodrigo Santoro the guy who plays?
He's the dude from 300, isn't he?
And he's the guy in Lost, the one who gets buried alive. Yeah. That's Rodrigo Santoro.
Oh, my God. What is... I'll go back and edit this.
Hey, it's okay, Tim. I didn't know we had to record tonight until today.
Well, it worked out pretty well because... So... Yeah, you... now we're going to get your unfiltered thoughts.
That's true. I'm actually happy that I watched it so close to recording.
You want to know how close I was? Not even close at all. It starts with an R, and the last name starts with S. Rodo Sayugas, who I believe directed I always think Fede directed the Chainsaw Massacre movie that came out a couple of years ago, but I believe it was actually directed by him, and Fede wrote it.
Yes.
I'm probably way off on that.
You pulled an Adele Nazim, the old Travolta mess around. That's one of the great moments. Speaking of like special variety shows, that's one of the great moments.
John has a couple moments, doesn't he?
Oh, he's got some good ones.
John, he's an entertaining fellow.
He sure is.
So anyway,
sure is.
We're not here to talk about John Travolta. We're going to talk about this movie, Willie.
Indeed,
I'm kind of.
You're very curious to hear my thoughts.
This is my second time watching it.
Yeah.
I believe I talked about it. I may have talked about it a little bit when I was doing the honor roll.
I think you did. Yeah.
And because I've
no
seen
spoilers, I don't think, or anything like that.
No, and honestly, I didn't like it enough to like put it on the honor roll. So like, I didn't talk about it much because that's kind of how I'm doing it now. Is like I'll go into depth on ones I really liked, and I feel about the same way. I knocked it out again.
I was going to say this is fun for me because now I get to see like how you felt in a second viewing, if your opinion changed at all, or if
I feel about the same way. It is a weird movie. It's going to be an interesting movie to talk about, I think, because there's actually some stuff I really like in it, and then there is some stuff that I really don't like. But it all boils down to it's a Fede Alvarez movie for me. It
Sure.
is. I think it's really nice to look at. I think he has a handle on. I actually like the world he builds. There's some cool stuff that I like seeing in the beginning. As far as
Fede has a look now too.
He does, yeah.
He's a director who has his own kind of look. Like I can tell it's a Fede Alvarez movie.
Yes. Yeah. It feels very similar to Don't Breathe, both in plot and characters. But I don't dislike that. But the script to me is the issue. And I have a feeling, as I go back through his filmography in my head, like that's my issue with most of his movies. Safer, maybe. No, even the Evil Dead remake, I'm not crazy about.
That's a thin script.
Mm-hmm. So I think he is a ton of talent on a technical level. I'm just never like fully crazy about his movies. I still think Evil Dead might be my favorite, and that one I'm kind of wishy-washy on sometimes.
Doesn't he remind you of Zack Snyder in some ways?
A little bit.
That, I don't mean. I mean with regard to. I feel like he needs to be paired with stronger writers on his projects.
Stronger writers. I will say this. I think he does and maybe this is just by necessity because he hasn't blown up like Zack Snyder did.
Sure.
I think he has done a better job of reining himself in than Zack would end up doing.
Agree.
I think Zack's kind of lost the plot a little bit.
Zack Snyder's kind of his own beast now. But
yes,
yeah.
And I don't feel that with Fede, but there's part of me that wishes he would a little bit.
You almost want him to get like crazy with it.
Yeah. So the weird thing about this too is like I mentioned at the top, I'm not like a huge Alien guy. Franchise. I'm similar to you in that I like the first two, and then everything after that, there's like stuff I like in most of them. There are one or two that I just don't like, and we're counting.
Which ones do you not like?
I don't like.
I know we're gonna rank them later. But I'd like to know.
I don't like Resurrection.
Okay.
And I don't like Prometheus.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest with you. There's not even a lot I like in Prometheus. I do like Covenant, but Covenant I like in like in a Counselor Ridley type way. Like I like.
There's a sleaze factor.
There's a sleaze factor. There's a heavy nihilism to that movie.
It's about as angry as you can get.
Yeah, and honestly, that's prevalent in the first one. It's just tamped down by other things. The Cameron one doesn't have that as much. This one kind of does. So this one kind of does.
Depends on what character you are.
Yeah. So the weird thing about this series is like I am like, if I were going to go percentages, I'm like 55-45 like on this movie, which may rank it on the upper half of these movies for me.
That's the weird thing, right?
Yeah, so now that's me. I want to get to you. Willie, what are your thoughts as a bigger fan of Alien and Aliens than me?
Oh, man. I like a lot about this movie. I like this movie a lot on a micro scale, not a macro scale. I like parts. I like the certain parts throughout the film. I like certain ways that. First of all, I think it's a beautiful movie. I think you mentioned that, but I think from a technical standpoint, I think the score works. I think the cinematography works. I think the sound design works. I think the direction works. I don't have any real complaints on a technical level. So I'm just going to get that out right now. The effects work, by and large, except for one.
We're going to have to devote like 10 minutes.
We're going to have to. Yeah,
we'll do it later.
I didn't think I was going to give a shit. Like, honestly, I didn't think I was going to care that much. But we got to talk about that. I'm going to give you an example of what I'm saying, mean by like a micro scale thing. I think this movie utilizes the face huggers the best they've ever been utilized since the first movie, certainly. Yeah. And here's the thing. You can't use them the exact same way as the first movie. And I think that later films kind of forgot that the alien and the facehugger aren't inherently scary if you just repeat the same function over and over again. It's not just having the alien shoot a second mouth into somebody's head is not scary anymore. It's tough to make a monster scary once an audience has been exposed to it for so long, right?
Right.
I think you can do it, but I think you have to reinvent it a little bit, or you have to you gotta find a way to make it work. But that's not always easy. With the facehuggers in this one, I like that. That's one of those little micro details that I really liked. Was like they make them formidable and scary. They're not just kind of periphery monsters. Like they're kind of actively like the main monster throughout the first chunk of monstery stuff in this movie. And I like some of the sequences of them having to kind of weave their way through.
Fetty can direct a set piece.
These hordes of dude, it's good. They're flying everywhere. And
he's so good at like layering shit on top of like threats on top of each other.
Yeah.
He's
very good at that. Yeah. Sometimes he gets a little too crazy with that. For me.
Okay.
I'll give you another example real quick, just quickly.
Yeah.
The acid anti-gravity scene. I did not like that sequence.
Really?
I liked the idea. I thought it felt goofy to me.
Okay.
It didn't come off.
This is the one towards the end,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Once they're floating around trying to dodge acid blood. It looked goofy.
Something that would work good in a Dark Horse Alien comic book.
Did not work for me in motion on screen.
Fair enough, yeah.
It felt kind of like, okay, like, just float around with acid. I don't know. Like, can we get through this so we can get to the... And I was already bombarded with all sorts of cool stuff or like crazy stuff already, and then it's just more crazy on top of that. So on a micro level, I think things like that really work. I think some of the characters I really enjoyed, and I think there's pieces here. As a whole, though, I wish I liked the movie more than I do.
Yeah.
And that's not to say I disliked the movie. I certainly didn't love it. It was all right.
Okay.
It was all right. I understand from both a business/studio perspective and even from a creative perspective, I understand why they made the movie they made here. I understand that after what Ridley Scott did with Prometheus and Covenant, I think there was a demand for, can we just make Alien movies again, please? Can we get back to basics? Can we get back to what the people love?
So I want to say something
from the franchise. Yeah.
Someone who, maybe is more of a casual when it comes to the Alien.
Yeah.
I like that idea. And
I agree. In concept.
Yeah, and I like it in practice in this movie.
Okay.
Because I just feel like this is part of it. Like, okay, Prometheus, it's not for me. I think it has some of the dumbest characters ever put on screen.
Well, I just want to say something real quick. The problem with Prometheus' dumb characters versus some of the dumb characters in this movie, there's a couple in this movie too, is that the characters of Prometheus are supposed to be professional adult scientists.
These are dumb kids.
They're teenage kids who stole a spaceship to go steal another spaceship.
Yes.
Basically, right? Like,
That's another thing too. Is like
it's like the weird. Pepsi generation.
But it's weird. That's another thing I liked about this movie actually that you brought up there. I like movies that do feature like adult professionals, and I think we've gone away from that in movies. But for whatever reason, I kind of dug that they were just like 20-year-old kids in this.
We
movie.
never had that in this franchise.
We haven't had that in franchise. No. Like it's been all professionals, and like you mentioned, like even the professionals started to get stupider and stupider.
Sure.
I guess Resurrection had kids in it, didn't it?
Not really. No.
Oh no, did it not?
No, it was like space pirates.
Okay, I couldn't remember because I just know they fight in a high school pool at one point.
Do they? Yeah, I think they do.
I feel like they do.
I don't know.
A Canadian high school pool.
That's Alien AVP Requiem, isn't it?
Oh, am I thinking?
That's Requiem, dude.
I'm throwing Requiem and now I'm getting Resurrection mixed in with.
Yeah, how you could tell it was a high school, I don't know, because that movie's lit so freaking dark.
Anyway, so when I said Resurrection earlier that I didn't like, I meant Requiem, but now we're not I forgot we're not counting the AVP.
It's fine.
Movies.
It's okay.
All right, where was I going before? I was
what
talking
you were saying was that you kind of dug in this instance having a youthful cast.
A youthful cast, and I also dug. So the Ridley movies, those last two Ridley movies, like we get like even some of the fan service. It was nice to have an Alien movie again after those two prequels.
I completely agree.
Did not feel like Alien. They felt like they wanted to be as far away from Alien movies as they could for most of it.
He didn't want to make Alien movies. He wanted to make movies about David.
Yes, but he knew he could kind of smuggle the David stuff in if he made it an Alien movie or Prometheus.
And the David stuff is the stuff that works best in those movies.
It is the best
because he cares the most about it.
Yep.
The rest of it's kind of like, okay, yeah, sure, Alien.
So I guess that's what I wanted to say. I was happy to get a straight ahead horror centric Alien movie again. Because that's what I want.
I get that.
So that's all.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that, and I think in some ways this, to be fair to it, I think in some ways this does succeed in doing that, in getting. It's like, and here's why I'll say that. I think Fetty and the team here do enough in this movie to make me excited to see Fetty do another Alien movie, and hopefully get to do a little more of his own thing and get a little crazier with it, for good or bad. It could go either way. Honest to God, it could. I hope that happens, and it sounds like that is going to happen. Because I do feel like and I think he said in interviews, he felt like he had to hit the check mark. He had to check off the Alien franchise checklist. Okay, we got to have the heroine go back to save somebody at the last second. Check. We have to have the chestburster scene. Check. We have to have the scene where the alien's face gets really close to the heroine's face and they're all sweaty and dripping. Check. Like, there's very specific things he feels the need to hit here. And then
you have to shoot for the trailer, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it worked. This movie made money. It exceeded expectations at the box office.
And like that goes into what we're saying from a business perspective. That makes sense because you have a lot of people that I think felt burned too by the last couple of Alien movies.
I don't think people cared about this franchise.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think you kind of needed to get people back into a theater to see an Alien movie. You kind of needed to go like, "Hey, this is just like the one you remember," and I get that.
Yes.
I do.
It was feeling a lot like the Terminator franchise. We've talked about that earlier. I think it's fair to compare those two. The Terminator franchise, I think now is I think they made 2 movies past the point where the franchise felt dead, and they still made 2 more movies, and those movies didn't. Like, I don't know what you do with that. Whatever. I'm not going to get into it. I don't know what you do with that anymore.
I mean, I would just kill it, but
yeah, I'm not sure. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to like the movie more than I did. I don't dislike it. I will watch it again because I do think it's worthy of a rewatch just to see how I feel about it.
I'm curious on that too for you because like I could see it going like now that you know what's coming and like know what annoys you, you could just be like more annoyed by what annoys you.
It could go either way. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a while and I'll probably rewatch it. But no, I mean, look, I think if you're listening to this and you haven't seen it, I do think if you enjoy the first couple of Alien films, I think that you'll get enjoyment out of this. I think it certainly owes enough and derives enough of its content from those first 2 to at least give you some warm and fuzzies. Are we getting full on spoilery and stuff right now? Or?
Yeah. So are you? Yeah. All right. So where do you want to start with this movie, spoiler wise?
I want to start at the beginning of the movie itself.
Okay.
I'm not saying we're going to go chronologically through the movie necessarily. I do want to start at the beginning though, because I do want to say. Right out of the gate, I was interested in the movie. Like as soon as the movie starts, I was like, "This is cool! Like this is really fucking cool."
We've never really seen this before.
No, it was
right.
Yeah, right. Like we're not just on a space station.
Yeah,
we're like this isn't Earth, right? We've never seen Earth in the Alien films, but like we're in this colonized planet. We don't get to see the colonized planet in Aliens. It's already been kind of decimated and destroyed by the time the characters get there.
Yeah,
this is the first time we're seeing this. Like, what is life like for a 20-something in this universe where corporations have taken over, essentially, and oh my God, this is too close to home.
Well, but it does feel like you feel these people like crushed under the weight of like capitalism run amok at this point, and like I think it's good stuff.
This is really cool stuff.
Yeah,
and it immediately makes me care about the characters, even though a couple of them maybe are written as kind of they're thinly written. A couple of them certainly they're not all fleshed out. You don't get backstories for everybody. But even the annoying antagonistic dickhead character that you have
we're talking
to
about Bjorn?
Bjorn, yeah. Even you even understand him.
Well, they explain why he is the way he is. As much as you don't like it, I mean, at least it gives him motivation and it makes sense.
And you see where he's coming from an actual like environmental perspective, like where he lives, right? Like, you'd be miserable.
His dad was killed by a synthetic, is what happened, right?
Well, and the thing is, like, if you were that miserable in your life, and like the deck was this level of stacked against you, and you were forced to suffer on a planet with no sunlight for years at a time in mines, you would find a scapegoat, and for him, the scapegoat was the synthetic.
The synthetic.
So even with his character...
Even that ties into a lot of stuff we see in the real world today.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
I also think, Andy, the synthetic, being a black man is interesting, too.
Being a black man and the characters played... And it makes sense for the character because they mentioned that he was discarded by Weyland-Yutani and he was kind of reprogrammed a little haphazardly, I think, by... Yeah. So he's not quite...
Her dad, Rain's dad, right?
Right. So he doesn't function like a lot of the synthetics we've seen. Like he's not as good at interacting with other people. But what I like about this is not only is he a black man, but he also plays the character kind of on the spectrum.
Early on, yeah.
Early on, right. And then he kind of comes out of that because of plot things, and then he goes back to that kind of afterwards. And I really like that. Like, I really love that performance. He's the standout for me. I think Kaylee Spaney, who plays Rain, is really good too. Mm-hmm. But he, for me, is the standout because he's really playing two characters. In a lot of ways.
And I'll give him this. Like, I wasn't as crazy about the robot or the way he was playing.
Sure.
Because he played him like a and it's on purpose. But I've seen this type of character before where he's playing him kind of like childlike and in a lot of ways, and like he feels like a sitcom robot, like a robot that's straight stepped out of the sitcom. But when he gets that upgrade, then I think he becomes really interesting.
Yeah, I think
it becomes like least of the tensest stuff in the movie for me.
I like both.
Yes,
because I think that change works as well as it does because of what you see before. Does that make sense? Like
right.
That transition, you go, whoa, okay, we're dealing with something else now. For me, he's the strongest performance in the movie, and I really enjoyed the synthetics in these movies tend to be standouts anyway.
Yes.
I think the one exception might be like Resurrection. I think Winona Ryder's kind of there's just nothing for the character to do in that movie. But like, I mean, you look at like Ian Holm, we'll get into that. Lance Henriksen, like there's some really solid. What's that?
It's Fassbender, right?
Fassbender, yeah. Like, dude, these are like solid performances. So anyway, I really enjoyed Andy. But I love the setup. I love the establishment of the universe. I love the idea that they're living in this hellhole basically, with no escape. I love the idea that some random like administrative worker for Weyland Yutani can just press a button and add 12 years onto your sentence, just arbitrarily because why not? I mean, this is horrifying stuff. And it works really well for me, and I love the idea.
And once again, not far off from
it feels somehow it feels now, which I don't like saying, but it's true. And so I dug the beginning of this. I love the setup. I love the fact that this feels a little bit different. I know we're going to be getting I saw the trailers. I know we're going to be getting we're going to be hitting our checklist, right? We're going to be getting all the beats. But I like this setup, and I like kind of where we're headed with this. And I think all the characters are likable, honestly. Even Bjorn, like there's elements of him that are likable. I think, he cares about what's his
Navarro.
Yeah. He cares about her. Like you can tell he loves her, and there's a real connection and a real like. So like for that reason, I understand why he wants to get out of here too. Like I get his.
And everybody seems to be like brother sister or
they're friendly.
Close relationship. Yeah.
Which is kind of nice.
Yes.
There's no besides like some tension between specifically Bjorn and Andy. Mm-hmm. There's really no tension in the group. Like they don't bicker and fight amongst each other. They like just Despite the fact that they're not the well-versed adults we see in these movies most of the time, they handle the shit pretty well for what's going on at the beginning. I would say. Anyway, so yeah, then we get to space, and things get kind of haywire. I don't know. Anything you want to add to that? I mean, it's
no. We kind of cover. No, we cover most of it. We mentioned the look many times, but the whole thing feels like it was just kind of crushing and suffocating in the beginning.
Yeah, and very Hunger Games-y.
Hunger Games. It also in a way feels more in the spirit of what Ridley was going for a lot in that first movie, just different. And so that's where I was like, oh, this is kind of the same but different, and I kind of dug that about it. We kind of mentioned the Don't Breathe parallels.
There's certainly some Blade Runner stuff here too.
Yes.
It's very rainy and wet, and like there's a lot of
and it is horror movie setup because, like you mentioned, it is even the thinly veiled character or thinly written characters are very horror. So okay, so we're in space now.
Yeah, I will say this. I do think that the set design of the ships, because there's a couple.
The Romulus and the Remus, of course.
Yes, and then the ship they come out on is the, what is it called? The Condera or the...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. they all look good, and they all, in the sense that they all fit that 70s, that late 70s, early 80s sci-fi aesthetic. They feel like they could, because this movie takes place 20 years after Alien.
Oh, so I think it does it. I really liked seeing that kind of aesthetic in this movie. The kind of the old clunky sci-fi. I like that. It all felt like real and tangible. Like you could feel it, and you don't get that in a lot of big budget movies.
Lived in.
It does, yeah, and like because so much is done, and it doesn't even bother me that much a lot, but like so much is done with green screen, all sorts of technology.
There's
like
too much cleanliness to it.
Yeah, this felt kind of grimy and clunky. Yeah,
I dug that. Yeah, I will say, I didn't find any of the ship designs in particular all that. I do like the designs of the ships generally in the Alien franchise.
Yeah,
these ones just can't feel like ships. There was nothing memorable in that in terms of the design as far as the interior or exterior of the ships, which is a little bit of a letdown. I like kind of cool, unique.
In my head I was comparing it to Star Trek. Even Strange New Worlds, like they try to capture that early Star Trek Enterprise style ship, but it's even looking at it, you're like, oh, this looks way too clean. Like it doesn't do a great job of capturing the JJ movies. It looks like an Apple, an Apple store. Like it does. Like so, I actually liked the callbacks to that to the early stuff. Sorry,
I agree. But yeah, so I think we should talk about.
I wanted to mention Kay real quick too.
Please,
she ties into the beginning.
Please do.
Sorry.
I got things to say
about Kay.
Yeah,
but so I like. There's something early. She said she's pregnant, and she's lived essentially on this planet, and her whole goal is she wants her child to see sunlight. Like she does not want her raised in shit. And I really like that.
It was nice.
Yes, I like that.
Her performance is great.
Yes.
Why do the writers hate this character so much? This is
Fetty though.
This is the.
Isn't there a pregnant character in Don't Breathe? That's like
There might yes.
Well, there is.
I haven't seen a character treated meaner since like that Jurassic World woman. No, I mean
forgot about that.
Can we? All right. Let's just
the best part of that.
Let's run through Kay's brief 25-year-old life that she has over the course of this. She grows up in some sort of awful, horrible mining colony.
Right.
She gets knocked up by somebody who clearly she isn't interested in, or whatever. She lives in terror that her child is going to grow up like her. She gets on a spaceship. Then she watches one of her best friends get horribly murdered in front of her and have her blood splattered on her face. Then she watches her cousin get murdered in front of her. Then she watches her brother get murdered in front of her. Then she gets stabbed. Oh, no, she gets stabbed. Then her brother dies in front of her again. Then she gets impregnated and gives birth to an egg vagina. And then it
She's lived a full life.
And then and then it breastfeeds her to death.
That's right.
That was insane. That was the most Fetty thing I saw in this movie. I was like, oh my. As soon as she put her hand. And she's like lactating the black goo, I was like, what the is going on? I was aware of the offspring going into the movie. I'd heard that there was a new creature and it was kind of like a human alien.
Well, yeah. Are we talking about the thing at the end that was whatever you call it from Prometheus, right? Or is that what we're talking about? I can't. I'm blanking. He had like the face from,
which I liked actually. Yeah. It makes no sense. So okay, first of all, I fucking hate the black goo thing.
Okay,
I hate it. I don't like it in Prometheus. I don't like it in Covenant.
Yeah,
I think Covenant kind of cleans it up a little bit and makes it a little easier and tidier. I don't like the black goo. Do you know why I don't like the black goo? Because Damon Lindelof created the black goo.
Yeah,
and Damon Lindelof created this as a plot convenience to basically just make whatever monster you want. None of it makes sense.
It feels like magic.
It's magic goo.
It's magic goo.
There's no rhyme or reason for what it does.
The people from the Abrams universe has a big problem with magic goo or magic blood.
That just do things.
Yes.
Whatever you need them to do in that moment. Yes. It's insanity. So, but I will say I liked him having a bit of an engineer face because at least I was like, okay, cool. Like there's some sort of tie there to that at least. Mm-hmm. There was a cool. Actually, they do I'm not the world's biggest Prometheus fan by any stretch. I do think I need to rewatch it because I'm curious to see how I feel about it years removed. But I'm not. That was one of the most disappointing movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Period. Not one of the worst. One of the. I was so excited for that movie, and I watched it at the theater like depressed. I did. I was.
I remember
miserable.
I think I can't remember if I told this. I was working at a job that I absolutely hated.
You weren't at the video store at that point, were
No, this was this was something different. It was
Yeah,
around the same time. I actually still was so I was doing both.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, and I'm like, I have to quit this job. And I ended up quitting it at like that day, like to get out of my head. I went to go see Prometheus by myself. And I remember our friend Dad texted me. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "What's going on?" I can't remember. He had heard. Oh, I think he had heard that I had quit somehow. And I go, "Well, I just got out of Prometheus, and I wish I would have went to work today. I wish I would have went to the worst job I have ever been a part." Yeah, I had. So anyway, that's my Prometheus story.
Depressing. Anyway,
well, yeah, what you described with Kay was like it's like a sad country song, but like a sad like alt country song.
Hell yeah, yeah. Like Shabuzi would sing it. Yeah. Hell yeah. Anyway, so I don't know. It's mean, but yeah, like the. I did like when it comes to Kay, I did like the reveal of the creature. I thought that was the most effective in terms of horror.
Yes.
In the I wish they would have kept him in shadows a little bit more. I feel like he's overlit in a couple moments, and it takes me out of it a little bit. That's just a nitpick, but generally, I think that that creature's really, really cool. And the fact that most of it was practical is insane.
Yeah.
But like he's like breastfeeding on her, like to death. It's so it feels very alien though.
Yeah.
Feels very Giger. He would have been.
Yeah, kind of like psychosexual.
He would have been so. Oh, he would have loved it.
Yeah, that would have been the one part he was raving about.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Anyway, so yeah.
So yeah, we're in space, and are we there? Do we need to get to it now?
Yeah, we probably should talk. I don't want to skip it. So
okay, we got to talk about Rook.
Yeah.
All right. So you had been spoiled on this before we watched the movie. Yep. Well, and I had actually. So I hadn't been spoiled on it. But I don't know how much it would have hit me because, like I said, I remember like the first couple of it, like it's not like I would have went like, oh shit, like Rook, I love him, welcome back. I would have been like, oh yeah, I remember Ian Holm from that movie. It's kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So Ian Holm played Ash in the original Alien. And he's a synthetic that goes rogue, and they wind up destroying him because he is working for the company or whatever. Duplicitous.
Right.
And Ian Holm appears in this film as Rook, which is a fun play on the fact that there's Bishop in Aliens.
Yes.
I guess. I don't know. But
they love that, though. This movie loves that, because even the Romulus stuff, they're like, I guess we got to call the other ship Remus.
They love it. They love it. Which is fun.
It's fine, yeah.
I'm going to mention a couple things that are not fine with regard to paying homage to.
There's one big one in particular that I'm sure has been covered to death. But
I'm wondering if you and I have the same one, because it was embarrassing.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I went from rolling my eyes to making an audible gasp. Anyway, so Rook shows up, and Ian Holm is playing Rook. And here's the problem. Ian Holm is dead. He's dead. He's a dead person. He passed away.
Yes.
God rest him, his soul, whatever, R.I.P. But he's dead. And so they have brought Ian Holm back to digital life by utilizing, I can only assume,
so they say, okay, so
AI stuff.
The creation of Rook this is from Entertainment Weekly.
Okay.
The creation of Rook was achieved through a combination of animatronics built to resemble Holm and actor Daniel Betts performing his lines. I don't think that's true. I think they had an animatronic, because that's not an animatronic we're seeing. They're they're like deep faking.
It's a deep fake.
Ian Holmes'
it's a deep
face and stuff over top of it. They did. I do want to mention this. Alvarez has said this, and I believe, I don't have any reason to not believe him. He said they worked close with Holmes' widow and his family to make sure they were happy with it, and they thought it was a good tribute and acknowledgement of his role in the
and I appreciate them for asking.
Exactly, and
I think that's the right
I
way
even
to
appreciate them for going out of their way to say it, like just to like make me feel okay with it. Yeah.
Yes,
but here's the thing. I'm not a hardliner when it comes to this
I'm
stuff.
not either. I don't look. It always looks like shit.
That's the thing.
I've never seen a good example of this.
I don't like the de-aging thing because I think it's like morally wrong or whatever. I just think it looks terrible. The same thing with this. Like in this movie, like do I think it's like, oh my gosh, even What's the other one? Some other movie just did this. I can't remember. But I look at this and I go, it takes me out of the movie because I'm like, hey, that guy's dead.
Okay, so I'm
like I know he's dead. Like this guy's dead.
I'm gonna compare two sci-fi films that do the same thing. They bring back a dead actor to reprise a performance. Well, I guess not reprise in this case, but close enough. Grand Moff Tarkin shows up in Rogue One.
Yeah.
It looked like crap.
It did, yeah.
He has one line. It didn't bug me that much. I went, all right, it's fine. Like, sure. The problem with this one is that Ian Holm, once again, is not a living person, shows up in this movie and is in the movie for 10 to 15 minutes of solid screen time.
Yeah.
Gives an immense amount of important exposition for the plot, and is a presence throughout the film. I would say is the primary antagonist throughout the course of the film.
Here's the thing with
insane.
Here's the thing with his exposition, though. I actually think you could get away with cutting it.
All of it.
Just like I don't think
any of it's necessary.
No,
all of it could have been done. Do you know what they could have done? And I don't like doing this. I don't like doing this. Here's what I would have done. I hate it, but I'm going to do it. What's the whole plot point, right? They put his little chip inside Andy, right? And then Andy kind of becomes a surrogate of the company, right?
Yeah.
You could still do that.
Yes.
He just pulls a chip out of the dead one's neck and puts it in there, and now he's giving out. Like, I don't get it. It felt so unnecessary.
It grinds the movie to a halt for me, too, because I'm actually, like, by this point, he comes in around, like, I don't know, like 40, 45 minutes into the movie.
I was pretty into it.
I was with it. Like everything we had just talked about.
All the pre-space stuff in the early...
This is cool. Yeah. And then it's also just the use of what I assume is, like, AI technology, and they're shying away from... I'll say this. I'm not even a hardliner when it comes to AI. Honestly, I don't like it.
No.
But, like... I don't want to get too far into it.
Uses,
I don't want to get too far into it, but like it's.
I agree.
I think it's funny. It is. This is a tough thing to say too, and I don't want to be too critical. I do think it's funny though to make a movie that spends the first 40 minutes railing against capitalism, then start utilizing the most capitalistic bullshit you can think of.
I don't want to say too much stuff.
Yeah.
But is that not the most on-brand thing for the parent company of this franchise?
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, pretty much.
Are we good there? Okay.
Yeah, we're good there. But even like I don't know, like I know what you're saying, but even in other movies that they produce,
yeah,
maybe I was gonna say I don't feel talked down like the. People are going to get their message across in a different. Like I'm thinking,
maybe I'm being too.
You know what I'm trying to? I'm not trying to defend that company right now. I'm trying to defend the creators.
Sure. Sure. That's fair.
And also, a lot of the times with those movies, they're not specifically about like capitalism.
Very true. They're not, yes, they are not trying.
That was more the point I was trying to make.
That makes sense.
And maybe there is something you would think. Maybe there is something punk rock like smuggling that idea in, but then when you start using the tools of that,
I mean, it's like writing a punk rock album, but then like making sure you get like
using an AI art cover.
Yes,
for the album. Yeah.
Whoa, sick, bro! Like you don't know. Anyway, no, it's weird, and I'm not even like it's funny because like. I don't even have like a moral issue with it because they talk to his family apparently, and it's like I don't care. Like it just sucks. It's just
he sucks as a character. He grinds the movie to a halt.
You could have literally had like any actor playing like a half-dead synthetic. You could cast anybody, and I would have less of an issue with it. Yeah, but you just like made a dead person come back to life for a major role in the movie. It's bizarre. It's just a weird creative choice. I didn't like it. That was a bridge too far for me in terms of trying to like reference, yeah.
I want to point this out too for anybody who's in the same boat as us who did not like. Did
he get paid?
I would assume his estate got
Somebody
paid.
got paid.
Yeah,
right?
I would assume his estate, like his widow, and they got a kickback. So. Yeah, although that's with that parent company, you never know. Ask the Marvel people. It's the Marvel people who they steal just full-on splash pages and then put them in
Hard
there.
to say. Yeah.
Anyway, the original trilogy.com, I sent this to you.
Yeah.
The original trilogy.com is the Alien Romulus alternate cut, a Rook-free Alien experience. What this person did, just Google the Rook-free cut Alien Romulus, and you'll find it too. If you don't, because I'm not going to list off the whole thing, but they essentially took out not just all of the Rook stuff. I'm taking this part from too. It was originally supposed to be. Okay, the craziest, I'm taking this from the article he wrote, or the preamble he wrote to the cut. He said the craziest thing about Rook as he stands in the movie, aside from the fact that the initial concept was apparently a woman synthetic who was maybe a physical version of Mother, initially intended to be played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge.
Oh,
so
cool.
I kind of think that would have been more interesting, depending on how it played.
Get it, man.
Yeah, actually, well, I think most things would have been more interesting, but yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he took out Rook, and then he also made a bunch of other replacements. I kind of want to read some of these off to you.
Sure.
Because I'm assuming it's a he.
You read them off, and I'll tell you if I think it would. I would like.
He says he's taking. You know the term member berries from South Park?
No.
Okay, so member berries are essentially like empty callbacks to stuff to remind you of like basically just like it's empty callbacks to stuff you liked as a kid.
Okay.
But it doesn't have anything deeper than that. And there are a lot of these. So we're going to get into some of them.
There's one I'm about to rail on. Go ahead.
Replace the 20th Century Fox fanfare with a remix version of the 20th Century Fox fanfare. So that's the beginning. I kind of like.
I don't care.
Yeah. Remove premature reveal that Tyler, Bjorn, and Andy are in a 3D printing lab for facehuggers. Intercut Navarro's discovery of X-ray torch. Okay, I'm trying to get to the actual.
I don't know. I don't care.
The Corbelan crashes into Romulus Station. Andy's already. Oh my God, there's so many cuts. I tried to remove mention of Rook and his mission from Andy and Rain's elevator conversation. Now the scene is just Andy reminding Rain that everybody's original plan involved abandoning him on the space station. Remove
that
Rook.
reveal was really sad, by the way. I thought that was really effective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Removed Andy's 80-yard busy little creatures line as they discovered the hive below. Because that's a callback too, isn't it?
I don't. It probably is. I don't remember that line, but it probably is.
Okay, yeah, we'll just get to the one now because I'm going through these and like there's a bunch of stuff, but like I'm not well versed enough.
Sure.
In alien mythology, like remove mention of Rook in the abduction aftermath. Andy clarifies his one directive: do what we must for the company. Why did he remove that? It's now. What is required of him is now to simply do what's best. So he just left that part in.
Okay.
I'm interested in this cut now. Removed. Get away from her, you bitch.
That. So. Another one. I'd heard it was in the movie ahead of time, and I was like, "Why?"
It's Andy who says it, right?
Yes. Why is the internet getting so upset about this damn thing? Who cares? Yeah, it's dumb. Like, why is this line stated? But it's insane. And do you know why? It makes no sense.
It's one of those things.
In the context of the film, it makes zero sense.
It's one of those things that makes me question the filmmaker. Like, it's someone who I even like enjoyed. Like, even if like I was enjoying most of the movie, like I question the choice. Like, it's so bad that like I question like,
what
is
are
this
you
guy
doing?
just bad?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Because I assume if I made a movie, it'd be shitty because I'd be a shitty filmmaker. But even I would have the good sense to not put this line.
Dude, it's already so like it starts bad enough with like Andy surfboarding a xenomorph down a chute while shooting it with a gun. Like that I already was like that. I was already rolling my eyes at that part. I'm like, oh my god, this is so stupid. Like,
yeah,
we've reached like AVP levels of dumb action bullshit here. And I was shocked that like that was happening. I was like, I thought this was supposed to be back to basics and like scary. Like the trying to be like this is the silliest bullshit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then he lands, and then he says, "Get away from her, you bitch." And I made a sound I haven't made in a long time.
What could even be like the possible reasoning behind him saying that line?
All right, the alien was going after her, so get away from her. Sure. But wouldn't you say that when you were like, as you like attacked, get away from her?
Yeah.
But he kills the alien in midair of surfboarding it, lands on it, is not burned at all, by the way, which is incredible stuff. After they set up how dangerous the acid is throughout the movie. And then he says, "Get away from here, you bitch." There's no context or setup for any of this. It was insane, dude. I was just like, this is not good. This is bad stuff. That should not be in the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not one. Yeah, that I would keep Rook all day and then get rid of that fucking thing. It was so bad, dude. It actually, like, normally a small moment in a movie would not hurt a movie that much for me. It actively hurt the next 20 minutes of that movie for me because I was reeling from it.
Well, so I kind of dig like the last.
No, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But when I say it hurt it for me, I think I would have liked it more because I was like, still in physical pain from that line. I don't get.
Did you like double over what happened?
It was rough. I mean, I thank God I wasn't like eating at the time because I was alone in the house watching it.
Yeah.
I would have choked on my food and died by myself. That would have been the last thing I ever heard was that stupid fucking line. Anyway, not good. Real quick, I mentioned the acid thing, so I want to make sure. There's another point I wanted to make. They were all over the place, but I like this. This is fun. This movie's kind of all over the place, so.
No, it is. Like I said, we're like, but I think we're doing a good job of jumping back and forth between like actual stuff we like and stuff we.
It's fun to riff, you know.
that's the movie in a nutshell. Like,
absolutely.
No, this is me in a nutshell.
Like, what is that from? That's from
Austin Powers.
Yeah, I haven't watched. I don't think those are going to hold up good.
Right? Probably not.
Okay.
Are you talking about it like a? They're not going to hold up worse than like 90% of the Bond movies. Like the actual Bond movies.
I think I've decided I'm never going to watch Austin Powers again because I don't want to hurt my memory of those movies.
Okay.
That's fair, right? I'll keep them forever.
Are you a gold member, man?
Yeah, it's great.
I kind of like the gold member.
I do. I think the second one is the best movie.
I do too. Yeah, I think second.
The first one's fun, but it's very much like the prototype for what comes.
The first one has the two jokes. Oh, I did the nutshell joke, I think.
Yeah, that's the first.
It has the Will Ferrell dying joke, right?
That's so good.
It has the I mention this every time because it's the one where he's backing out in the vehicle.
That's the first, yes.
And anytime like I do it or my wife we're in a tight parking spot, we have to do that over and over. I go, I'm gonna Austin Powers it.
I say it every time. I'm like, look at you, Austin Powers it. Yeah.
Violent with that.
We've all been there.
I'm on brand again. So last week I got a bloody bite or like a frostbite, I think it was, because we were doing a vampire. And this week I got space dust.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah,
smart. I still have Coors Banquet.
Yeah.
Been watching Cobra Kai, so.
You finish it?
No. We're rewatching from the start.
Okay, I didn't know if you'd watched the last episodes yet. So we're
not.
All right, back to Rob.
Yes. Anyway. Compliment once again on a micro level.
Yeah.
The kills in this movie are awesome.
Yes. Now, do you think they're a little bloodless?
Yeah, but I'm kind of okay with it.
Okay.
And here's why. The kills in that first Alien movie are pretty damn bloodless.
You're right.
The kills in Aliens are pretty damn bloodless.
Right.
Like, I like that you get just enough gore to make you fully understand what's happening to the person without giving it all away.
Okay.
And I think Fetty's showing restraint in that department.
That might be, but you know what? That might even be a directive by his parent company. But I don't think that's, once again, to go with what you were saying, maybe that's not a bad directive.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
I think they're actually more effective. I think that you could have gone full on. For instance, you got to have a chest burster scene in an Alien movie, right? It's like so important. The chest burster scene, like I really like the way it was handled too. Usually, even in the first two films, it just bursts out like a rocket, and just a geyser of Kill Bill-esque blood flies everywhere, and that's it. This is not that.
The first one only topped by Spaceballs.
Yes, of course. Hello, my baby. That's such a great scene. That's John Hurt too. That's the best part. What I liked about this was it felt like kind of raw and real, but somehow less over the top and less gory. Like it kind of like punches through her, but then it's like too weak to so it kind of like slowly.
Yeah, doesn't it like
Oh, it's so good.
So gnarly.
Like there's like your chest bone is kind of caved out, and like it just kind of makes its way out. It's really good. Somebody dies by acid on screen. I liked that a lot too.
What's his name, right?
Yeah, it's Bjorn.
Oh, it's Bjorn. So there's Bjorn and Tyler, and I had no notes on Tyler. Because I did it
he's good. He's just kind of like, I don't know. He's kind of like
and then there's another guy, too, that I can't remember.
There's another guy?
Isn't there?
There? That's it, right? That's it.
Okay, we're gonna say that's it. Yeah.
Tyler's like the dreamy male lead guy.
Okay.
Like he's kind of like the romantic interest, kind of. Like there's no romance, but like it's hinted at, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. There's no other guy.
He gets a good head bite. That was good.
He gets the head bite's good. Yeah,
nice
yeah.
head bite.
He was in Morbius, I believe. He was in Morbius. I wrote that down as his credit.
Oh my god.
I don't know what he was.
Because
if you want a movie that I cannot remember a single thing for, I think there was a train in Morbius at one point.
Oh. There was. They race a train.
I didn't know they raced it. I just knew it was in it.
Yeah. Or something. With regard to him, though, another weird moment in this movie that I think was supposed to be a reference, he gets like pulled up in the vents, and the alien's going to head bite him.
Yeah.
And he looks over, and there's like 40 aliens crawling through the vents toward him. And he points the gun at them, the gun that he was told he can't shoot on this level because it'll implode the ship with the acid.
Mm-hmm.
And then it like cuts back to him. He doesn't fire the gun, but you can hear him going, "Is that all you got?" Which I think that was a Bill Paxton reference.
Okay.
Because that's why he's like, you want some more? Blah, blah, that whole. But then he doesn't fire the gun, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, was that supposed to be a reference to that scene? I don't understand.
It's like
very strange.
Did it come off as ADR?
Yes.
So maybe Fetty was watching it and is like, I haven't referenced an alien movie in 5 minutes.
Right? I think it was ADR, which is weird because
he's like, oh shit, I haven't referenced Bill Paxton.
Right, got to do that. It shows him lifting the gun like he's going to shoot, and then you can hear him yelling like he is firing, but there is no gunfire. It's very confusing.
I love the idea that like then he's like called the actor up and he's like, hey, can you just say this into the phone?
Just
real
say
quick?
it. Yeah,
We'll fix it in post.
Put it on speaker. It's fine. And then forgot he was doing that. Anyway, so. He gets a good head bite. I love the acid death. That's the one that stood out for me because we'd never really seen that full on before. We've seen the acid like burn people before in the movies, but not like a full dude. Like when he holds up his hand, and it's like melting down to the bone.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Like that's
it is cool.
It's cool. It's good stuff. And then the breastfeeding death, which is like super gross.
So we talked a little bit about Kay. I did want to mention about Kay. Like her death is good. Like as mean as it is good because that plays into kind of the more interesting stuff with Rain and Andy at that point. Where we're starting to distrust Andy a little bit, or are we just fully on our? We haven't talked about Navarro yet. She's the pilot. Like she kind of has to like, she's the adopted sister of Bjorn, I believe, is what has been said. It's not really explicit in the movie.
Adopted sister, but they're together too, right?
Yeah, so they seem to have a romantic relationship.
I'm just saying something real quick.
Yeah.
Did you? There's a weird moment here. Now, mind you, they're cousins, and I'm sure they very much care about each other. There is a very strange moment between Bjorn and Kay.
Okay.
After Navarro is killed.
I may not have picked up on this, but
and they kind of meet up.
Yeah.
Bjorn gets he touches her face like this, like very weirdly, like almost.
Is it kind of sexual?
I don't know what's going on. Was he the dad?
I don't know what's going on in these mining colonies.
I'm just saying. Yeah. Times are tough.
Anyway,
I'm sorry, Navarro.
You're stuck in close spaces. No, we just hadn't talked about her yet.
Yeah, she's good.
She's being kept alive because they want to implant a seed in her, right? Yeah, they should implant a seed in her. She's also bald. She's a bald. So that's like shorthand for like someone who's seen some shit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and a nice reference to Alien 3.
Absolutely, yeah. So, and I don't know. I thought it was
No, yeah, I like the whole cast. I do. I genuinely like everybody.
Yep. So she's the chest burster, right? Yeah.
Yes.
But he can handle. We mentioned that before. He can handle tension. He can handle moments of horror. Fetty's a good director in a lot of ways. And like you said, I never like hate his movies, but like. They're always missing something for me, or
I've never seen a movie of his that fully hit for me.
Yeah,
I've seen movies of his that hit enough for me to go, I kind of like this guy.
Yeah,
but I haven't. I feel like he's like,
and I certainly keep watching his movies. And
yeah, I like him enough to keep watching.
Yeah,
he's just there's a movie there somewhere that he may or may not ever make
That's the thing.
that will just push him over the edge for me of like.
We're getting to the point now with him where we're like so far into his career, like I'm just like, I don't know if it's ever going to happen for me.
It's
like,
kind of shit or get off the pot almost, yeah.
Well, it's like, yeah, and it's just like, it's like one of those things you keep giving someone chances, like you keep giving a quarterback chances, and you're like, yeah, like he's good. Is this guy ever going to get us to the playoffs? Like,
yeah, for sure. Do you think? I'm going to throw this out there right now. Fetty's going to make a sequel, right, to Romulus.
Yeah.
Or let's pretend that 100% it's going to happen, right? And he's going to bring back the two leads from this film, Andy and Rain. But then they announced Fassbender's also going to come back as David. So we're going to get like a Fast and the Furious style, like, would that excite you, or would that be, like, can we just be done with David now?
So here's the thing: is like, no, it wouldn't. I'm ready to completely do its own thing.
So you would like for nobody to return and just do a new movie, like a new.
Well, not nobody from like any of the the Romulus characters that are.
You're cool with that.
Yeah.
You just don't. Okay. Yep.
I don't want any more. Like, I'm ready for it to do its. I have a question for you too after this. I'm ready for this franchise now to just start doing its own thing.
Another crazy question.
Yeah.
They talk about like, oh, we're floating out in cryo sleep, and we don't know if we're ever going to make it to our destination. Blah blah blah. What if they announced they were doing a Romulus sequel, but Sigourney was in it? Like, these two have been floating out in space for years, and like somehow they wake up 100 years in the future, like she did 50 some years in the future, and she's involved. Would that excite you, or would you be like, please don't do that?
No, it wouldn't excite me. And I love Sigourney Weaver.
That's good. I'm just curious. I'm curious to gauge your interest in.
That's the thing is like, yeah, I am like I mentioned a little more casual, so it's not like I get the same excitement as say when I saw Laurie Strode was coming back or something like that. But even now with her, like I saw a rumor that she's talking again about coming back. I didn't put a lot of stock in it, but even then I'm like, no, just don't. I actually like her ending in Ends, where she's sitting down and talking to my man Will Patton.
That's fine. Yeah,
I like her ending there, and I'm ready to just be done with that character. And it's kind of the same thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I like the Legacy sequel thing more than I haven't, but on the same kind, I'm kind of over it.
I think we're reaching the point of bubble burst. And I pose those questions to you not because I want those things to happen. I was just curious. Like, I've heard all sorts of stuff on the internet of like, they should do this or they should do this, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, like, can we give these characters another movie before we start like gimmicking the stuff? Like, see if they can hold their own movie again before we. I don't know.
Yeah, I did forget to mention she said the Xenomorph now is officially a Disney princess with this movie. Forgot to mention that.
Wait, who is?
The Xenomorph, the alien.
Yeah.
Yeah, officially. But I did want, and this actually ties into what I just brought up here. I have to ask you a question. Now, it is my opinion, I am happy that the studios, Disney included, I would throw all the studios in there, Warner Brothers, Universal.
Big boys.
Yeah, I think they've learned. I won't throw Amazon and Netflix in there because they do their own thing as far as theatrical releases go.
Amazon owns James Bond now.
Yeah. Not excited. Anyway.
Sorry.
I have a feeling they're going to turn it into some fucking 10-episode streaming bullshit that I'm going to have to watch, and it's going to be like a fucking young James Bond, and I don't want to deal with that fucking shit.
James Bond Jr.
And then we're going to get like spin-off like universe James Bond.
There'll be like a Q show.
Can I just get like a James Bond movie where like he fucking fight some guy that's like trying to steal secrets from
like you want to get back to
Russia or
give me a cool
or like Ukraine
give me a cool what's his name Roger Moore era movie.
Absolutely, like where it's kind of problematic.
Keep it simple.
Like, oh my god, what's this?
Mildly plot problematic,
what's
not
this
like offensive.
Up to? Just like a horny James. But then I'm gonna have to put six or like I don't know, like 2 seasons where James Bond doesn't get laid or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be awful. The season finale is him finally having sex for the first time.
Yeah, it's just a virgin James Bond.
Oh. They would do it too.
It's like in Smallville, like teasing, putting on the suit. It's James finally having sex. Oh my god! And it would be like.
Awful.
It'd be like some older woman in France or some shit.
He'd be seduced by a baroness.
It'd be like a whole season's worth of like them eating fucking crepes or something. Oh God. Anyway, where was I going?
Sign me up.
So I hope and I think that they have learned from a lot of their, I'm going to say it, mistakes from the COVID era, and they've decided like, hey, like let's just get back to releasing some of these movies in theaters, and a lot of them are bigger budget, like IP franchises, whatever.
Yeah.
But this movie did well, and I think they kind of hurt Prey a little bit. The Predator movie, which is
I agree,
because they just dropped it on Hulu, and people really like that movie. I don't know how it would have done. I think it would have done okay, but it wasn't like that movie was super expensive to make either. Even this one was on the cheaper side.
I think the success of what they did with Prey is going to be gauged on what happens with the next Predator movie.
So I'm going to ask you
in the theater.
So I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
What do you think is the, and you can take anything into account, creative, business, what do you think is the more successful reboot of a franchise? This one or Prey? Romulus or Prey?
This is tough for me to say because I haven't seen, because Prey was released on streaming, I don't know what effect that will have on a sequel if it's released theatrically, which I assume it will be at this point.
Right.
I think they're definitely gearing towards that. But right now I will go with Prey.
Okay.
And I'm going to go with Prey because I think the Predator franchise was more dead than the Alien franchise.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue that.
It was a franchise that was definitely in the dumps a lot more.
Yeah.
I think Prey managed to homage all the or not even homage, but hit all those check marks you want from a Predator movie, right? But also do something that we have not seen at all before in a film. And I think it opened up that universe to do a. I mean, you could. I'm not saying they're going to do this, and I'm not sure that I want them to do this. But you could treat Predator like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you can take that concept and that universe and pluck it into any time period, any geographical region. You could do a Predator film during the samurai era of Japan. You could do a Predator movie on the high seas with.
And this doesn't have to be like super high budget stuff. This
No,
can be mid budget
none of it
stuff.
has to.
And like that's the thing with the Predator. Like even Prey, there's a part of me that thinks like, yeah, it wasn't gonna make like $1 billion, but
It would have made money though.
It would have made money. I think it would have made money too.
And just
especially with word of mouth because people
Sure.
really like that movie. Yeah.
And let's look at it this way too. Mind you, Prey has been out certainly longer than Romulus, but Romulus doesn't officially have a sequel announced yet.
Right.
Okay. Prey has not one but two. There's two Predator movies that have been in, like they're coming.
Yeah.
Badlands and Prey 2, I think, is the other one. So I don't know, man. Like that tells me right there that Prey is the one that
might be end up be because I don't think Romulus was super expensive to make, but
no,
as far as it was probably a little pricey. I'd have to look it up though before.
I'm not 100% sure.
So I have
pricier than Prey, certainly.
One more question, then I want to get into some rankings here.
Sure.
Are you excited for the Noah Hawley Alien Earth?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I don't. I'm not, and it's I haven't really ever watched any of his stuff. I've heard it's great.
I've watched the first couple seasons of Fargo, and they're very good.
I've heard Nikki really likes Fargo. I've heard it's fantastic. I
didn't watch. I should watch Legion.
I've heard Legion's great.
Like I kind of feel like I would.
That's weird that you haven't watched
Legion.
that.
It's an X-Men.
Like an obscure X-Men.
Obscure X-Men, and it's got Dan Stevens in it. Why the
why
the fuck
Professor
have
X's
why have
son.
I not watched this?
And it's got Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza in it. Yeah.
I'm not going to say what character she plays.
Yeah.
Because it's a spoiler, but it's from the X-Men comics.
It's just something that slipped by me.
You should probably watch this.
So I the first season slipped by me, and I just said, okay, I'll catch it, and then I never did.
I've heard it's got a nice horror bend to it too.
I need to throw it on there.
Maybe we should
throw it on the watch list.
Cover that.
First episode, last episode?
No, because I don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
I know spoilers already, and I think you'll be bummed if you were to spoil it for
Fair
yourself.
Enough.
What the hell were we talking about?
Or I just asked if you're excited for Alien Earth.
No, I'm not. And it's nothing to do with him. I have zero interest in an alien story set on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
I have zero interest in an alien story set during the time period this is set.
Because Requiem already did it.
And you can't beat that. I have zero interest in an alien story set during the time period in which this is set.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually make any sense to me. I'm not sure how this even works. Somehow it's set between Prometheus and Alien, but it's on Earth. So if the company already has aliens on Earth, what the fuck are we sending people to space to go get aliens for? Doesn't make sense. Thirdly,
that's one of those things where, like, I assume it'll be explained, but do I care?
Do I care? Thirdly, I don't want to watch an 8-hour alien show.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want a nice 90-minute to maybe 2-hour fun, creepy...
Mm-hmm. Something similar to what
this is.
Half of this movie is, yeah.
But maybe, like, better. Like do
without
this...
with less of the annoyances.
Do this, but don't annoy me as much.
Yes. Yeah, just
I
do
feel
the good
bad
stuff.
because I'm like,
no.
Like Prometheus and Covenant come out, and I'm like, for as much as I love Covenant for its own hilarious reasons, namely killing James Franco without a line of dialogue. It's hilarious. They burn him alive in a tube, and he has 0 lines of dialogue. The only reason you know it's James Franco is because they show his picture once in the movie. It's so sweet.
Does Franco show up in Wicker Man? Is Franco at the end of Wicker Man?
He might be. Does he do the Christopher Lee thing at the end of Wicker Man? He might. I'm going to look that up. No, I think Christopher Lee shows up. I'm going to look that up.
Yeah.
But for as much as I have my enjoyments of Covenant, like, I was like, God, can we just get an Alien movie again?
That's where I was.
And now we got an Alien movie again, and now I'm kind of bitching about it. And I'm like, can we do something different? So now I don't know. Like, I'm clearly...
I don't know if you're not even saying you want it.
No, you're right.
You're actually saying you want to do something different by not just, like, having callbacks the entire time.
That's my beef, right? Is, like, we don't need to, like...
You want it the same but different. That's not unfair.
Right?
That's not an unfair take.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
I don't need Ripley. I don't need...
Mm-hmm.
I don't need to be tied to anything from the past. Just make an alien movie.
Yes.
A cool-ass alien movie with xenomorphs running around and people trying to live. I don't know.
I'm trying to think with, like, recently what they did with even the Scream movies. I would throw those in there. Like, it's the same sort of idea.
Yeah.
It's like Scream 6, I guess, a little more than Scream. Cause
it mostly
Scream
does its own thing.
It mostly does its own thing. Yeah. So, all right. You want to rank this franchise? I'll go first because I'm less. So,
sure, let's do it.
All right. Number one. Oh wait, do I want to go worst to first? How do you want to do yours?
Jesus. Let's go worst to first.
All right.
What's the worst
of the mainline Alien franchise?
Not
for me?
Counting AVP. Would AVP 1 and 2 not be in the bottom for you? If we included them. They would not. Then let's include them. Go ahead. No, fucking do it.
Requiem is the worst.
Requiem is the worst for me as well.
Prometheus isn't the worst, but I really hate that movie. So it's next.
Okay, next for me is Resurrection.
Okay, so next, that was, remember our biggest fight? Our first fight was,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was wrong. And I've admitted that multiple times.
I don't even remember what exactly the fight was.
I said Alien Resurrection is better than 3, and you're like, you're out of your goddamn mind. And you know what? You were right.
So okay, so wait, how many movies are there? Because now I'm trying to think. Okay, Aliens, Alien 3.
3, Resurrection.
AVP,
AVP
2, Prometheus, Covenant,
Romulus.
So 9. So my number 9 is Requiem. My number 8 is Prometheus. My number 7 then would probably be AVP.
Okay.
What's your okay? Then my number 6.
Yeah, go ahead and do your whole. Yeah.
My number 6, I'll go. I'll go Resurrection.
Okay.
My number 5. So then I've got Covenant. 3. I'm gonna go Alien 3. Oh my God! So here's the crazy thing. I'm gonna go number 4. Covenant, right? Am I at Covenant?
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna put this one. I'm gonna put Romulus at 3, even though I'm like not crazy about it. That's where I'm at with this franchise.
Man.
Like I've got Romulus 3.
I mean, I might be there too. I'm doing it on the fly.
And then I'll go. I think I'm gonna go Aliens, Alien.
Yeah.
So okay. Aliens 2, Alien 1, but like it's a toss up. Honestly, it depends on the day. It's very much like Terminator and Terminator 2.
It's so similar.
I'm probably a Terminator 2 guy, but like I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. I might.
It's a weird one. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Requiem. Resurrection. I have no desire to ever watch Resurrection. Like it's not good.
Yeah.
It's no.
It's a weird looking movie, and the The old Whedonite in me still has like some. Yeah.
Then AVP 1.
Okay.
Then Prometheus.
Okay.
Then Alien 3. Then Covenant. God damn! I think
So you're like
same ranking.
Yeah, 'cause I can't. So like the thing.
How did this get this high though?
The thing with Covenant for me, there's so much. There's like so much goofy shit.
It's not a good movie though.
What's that, Covenant? That's the thing. It's like
let's just be honest. Like it's not a good.
There's
movie.
so much goofy.
It's
shit.
fun.
I like a lot of it.
Yeah.
Like I like Danny McBride shows up and everything.
Yeah.
So I like, but like you sit there and I go like, what do I want to watch right now? I'd try to just throw
This.
Romulus on. Yeah.
I'm not gonna watch Alien. Alien Covenant. Like
I'll watch select scenes like the fingering scene.
hell yeah. let's get down to brass tacks here. But it's I don't remember much of anything from Alien Covenant beyond the very end, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And the fingering. That's it, dude. Those are the two scenes that are the best.
Yeah.
It's sweet because first he fingers and then he like ruins people's lives.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think we rewatched Alien 3
God,
recently and I like it.
Which one?
Alien 3. Didn't we rewatch it or you rewatched it too? Because
I watched it every couple
Alien.
years.
Oh, this is like years ago now.
We did it on multimedium.
We did an Alien versus Terminator versus Predator bracket.
Jesus, we did that?
Yeah, we did that. It's crazy, and I think we both rewatched 3, and like I think I was higher on 3 at the time, and then I watched it and like, oh, I kind of see what everybody like. I don't really. It's fine.
3 is weird, man. I don't know.
Even the Defenders, like I just can't defend it that too much. Like I could defend it like as not being like the worst thing ever made, like it was originally, like back in the day.
No, it's not. I mean, like
But David Fincher has made like every single one of his movies
is
pretty
better,
much.
pretty much.
Than Alien 3.
I'm trying to think of one that's worse. But no, I don't know.
I don't like the Benjamin Button. I don't like Benjamin Button.
Never saw it.
Anyway.
Not for me. All right.
Well, there we go.
I feel like I've said what I need to say about Romulus. I feel good.
What do you want to do next?
I don't know. We haven't discussed this.
So our next one...
We've been better about discussing this stuff ahead of time, but this time we have not.
Our next one will be March 6th. When is
it's my birthday. Not my birthday, but it's 3 days before my birthday.
So, okay. So I kind of want to do a couple of themed episodes in March, but I don't want to do a March Madness one until later.
Sure.
Either we do a bracket or we find some sort of... Or we do Deadly Friend because of the basketball scene.
Holy shit. That's a pick.
When is St. Patrick's Day?
March 17th. That is the founder's birthday.
Irish horror movies.
And my cats.
Let's see.
They share a birthday. My 2 cats and the founder are all St. Patty's Day babies.
I'm trying to think if maybe we should do like an Irish, something like Luck of the Irish, like some sort of Irish horror movie.
Leprechaun?
We've done Leprechaun.
We've talked about those in depth.
Do you have anything you've wanted to watch for a little bit? Should I just wait a minute? What am I thinking? Let me just scroll through Tubi here. I'm going to open up the Tubi app.
Oh no!
And see we're gonna do Tubi time.
That's dangerous.
All right.
I'm
going to go into Willie. While I'm getting this set up, can you tell the good people where to reach us?
Of course, horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com. We're also on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter anymore, so I don't know.
Honestly, your best bet.
What's going on there?
I've said this a couple.
Just email us.
Email us.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump into Instagram every once in a while. All right. So I have, email us, horrormovieyearbook@gmail.com.
Indeed.
I have, and I'm going to list off some, I have Tubi open right now, the horror section in Tubi. Basically the old 2-for-1 section.
Oh, yeah. Now we're talking.
And I'm going to name off stuff that might be interesting.
Okay.
Or
might not.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Tubi is looking a little rough right now.
It is looking a little rough.
Yeah.
I'm on here too.
Do you have it on here too? All right. So I'm like, all right. I'm just going to start naming off stuff I see. D. Snyder's Strangeland. Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Night of the Demons. Jack Frost. Madman. I don't want to do stuff like, I don't necessarily think I want to do stuff like Camp Blood Clown Shark.
No.
Carrie. I feel like we've done Carrie. I want to stay away from Carrie. Anything tickling your fancy yet?
No.
2001 Maniac starring Robert Englund. Blood Rain 2. Man, Tubi is
what's happening?
The Ice Cream Man. Oh my god.
I thought we were better than this.
like
happened?
I feel like
man, this is not good.
Bones, the Snoop Dogg movie Bones.
This is rough.
I thought
bro.
this would go better. Yeah, the Tubi selection right now is okay. All right, now we're getting into stuff like I've at least. Have we done The Collector?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I do believe we have. My word, this is awful.
I wanted to do an older one.
There's a movie in here called Inhuman Witch.
Inhuman Witch?
It's a killer sandwich. I'm not joking. There's also a movie called Holla If I Kill You. You want to watch that? Just kidding.
Gallowalkers. Oh my God, Gallowalker starring Wesley Snipes.
You know what would be fun to watch? There's one that I've been thinking about revisiting because I don't remember liking it.
Brain Scan.
When I first saw it, but it's got a bit of a following, and I want to check it out again. And it is on Tubi. It's a vampire movie that we've done vampires recently.
Okay.
Daybreakers with Ethan Hawke and Willem Dafoe.
Have we not
and Sam Neill.
Have we not?
We have not discussed Daybreakers.
I like Daybreakers.
I don't think. And I think you dig it, and I remember watching it for the first time, and I turned it off. I was like, I don't like this.
I'm going to just do a double check on this.
I do believe it's on Tubi. And I don't believe we've covered this movie at all, because I haven't watched it in years that I'm aware of. And if I have, that means...
Yeah, I'm looking... I Googled our podcast.
Yeah,
and,
I don't think we ever...
All right, so let's double check here.
I will check.
I like Daybreakers. So
this would be fun to do.
It is on Tubi. It's also on Pluto. It's on Fandango at home for free. It's on Plex for free. It's on the CW app for free. So there are plenty.
So let's do Daybreakers.
Yeah, let's do Daybreakers.
That sounds cool.
I think I have it on DVD as well.
I'm down. Yeah, I think I own it too. I want to revisit this one.
And then we'll do a March Madness theme episode after that.
After that.
We'll figure that out.
Awesome.
All right. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.